Hello, Jersey City. My name is Keegan Wilson. I'm a National Literacy Director for Hand to Mind. I'm here today to provide some training on the Phonemic Awareness and Phonics Intervention Toolkit that you have purchased. So I hope that by the end of this training that you feel more confident in using this with your students or beginning this with your students wherever you are in your journey with this toolkit. So I'm going to begin by going over some components of the toolkit, and then I will go over a lesson. So I am going to use my DocuCam a lot. So this is the front of the teacher guide. And so we are going to be diving into this. So if you have this guide with you, you definitely can follow along. So what the focus of the lessons in here are providing that multimodal instruction. So we know that in order for our students to orthographically map the information that we are teaching, that we have to activate two or more of these modalities. So we have to use the visual, the auditory, that kinesthetic and tactile in order to activate the brain in the way that it needs to be activated for that long-term retention to take place. So you will see in these lessons that the students are going to have visual resources to use, that hands-on component, that they're going to be seeing the things. They're going to be using the auditory with the phoneme phones. They're going to be using that kinesthetic, that movement piece when they're using the resources. They're skywriting the letters. They're using the magnetic wands, and that tactile piece. They're feeling the connection of the chips and the wand. They're feeling, the as they're drawing things in the sky or writing or touching the Conan board before they're mapping the sounds as they're making that connection before they move into the phonics. So our goal is to activate as much of the brain as possible so we can be using all of the parts of the brain. So all the jobs that you see here for the different regions of the brain can take place. So these are the features of the toolkit if you have not yet opened it. So you will have 4 boxes of those phonics word building reading rods. You will have 4 of the magnetic wands, so enough for small group. You will have enough of the chips for all your students to have plenty. You will have 1 teacher guide. You will have the letter sound cards that you see here. You will have 4 of the phoneme phones. You will have the Elkonin dry erase boards or mats, and then you will have the word cards needed for the lessons where word cards are included. So this is just a more detailed picture of all the components that you will have. And again, 4 of everything. If you need more, you obviously that you can buy those. The phoneme phones can be washed in the dishwasher. So if you have different groups on different days, that might be something you want to do, or wipe them with Clorox wipes. But enough here for students to use this kit. And because of that, this definitely fits in that small group component in your literacy block. We have other products for the whole group, centers and independent work, but this one definitely fits in that small group space. There are parts of this that you can make into centers and independent work, but definitely this kit was designed for that small group instruction. So this is the teacher guide. You will have 80 standard aligned lessons in here that should take 15 minutes each. They are scripted. They're multimodal, meaning they will address 2 or more of the modalities in every lesson. So you also have a pre-post assessment and then a progress monitoring tool, which I will show you today. So these are the strands that are addressed in the lesson. So you begin with phonological awareness, and you have morphology as well. So you see everything in between. So if you are aligning your core program to this, you can see all the different strands that will be covered. Because Hand to Mind is a supplemental company, our scope and sequence is our table of contents. So if you look at the front of the teacher guide, you will see the scope and sequence. So if you see that lesson 1 to 19, you're going to be covering phonological and phonemic awareness with short vowel closed syllables. You see that lesson 20 through 40 is covering long vowels and irregular consonants. You see that lessons 41 through 70 is will be covering diphthongs, vowel teams, and archangeal. And you see that the lessons 71 through 80 that's covering the morphology. This also is designed that if you have a student that doesn't need the first 19 lessons, you're starting on lesson 20. It's okay that you did not start with lesson 1. You can plug in as needed. If you have a student that you start with lesson 20 and then you see you need to go back with them, it's okay too. If this toolkit is designed that no matter where you start, that the skills, they do not spiral. There are some review lessons, but you will not be missing a skill prior. This also is made that you can plug in with your core at any place, your tier 1 instruction. So if your scope and sequence for your tier 1 program is in a different order, that is okay too. So if you're teaching a sound in a different place, you can still plug in with this toolkit wherever you need to address those sounds. So just wanted to make sure that's clear. So, some people obviously are teaching vowel teams after are controlled, or as we have it here, are controlled after vowel teams. Different companies have the sounds in different places. So wherever your scope and sequence, that tier 1 program is addressing, you can come to this toolkit and plug in to get the multimodal. Because as we know, there's not a lot of multimodal in some of the tier 1 programs. So a lot of people are purchasing this to add that in. And it is definitely okay that you're going to be plugging in different places than again, as I said, your core may be addressing it or in different order. So in the toolkit, you are going to see that the lessons are 2-page. They're laid out in a 2-page format. All the lessons are laid out in this way. So you're going to have 4 different sections with that layout. So you're going to, no matter what lesson you're on, they're all going to look the same. You're going to have your objective on the left and the materials that you need. You'll also see that in each section, it shows you the materials that you need for that specific section, but you will see that 2-page spread, and we're going to be looking at a specific lesson today as well. So again, you've got that objective, you've got the manipulatives that you need, so you know what to pull out for the lesson. You do not need not all the lessons will use everything in the toolkit. So until you start covering phonics, you will not need to get out the reading rods. So as you see in this lesson, you only need the letter sound cards and the phoneme foam. You also see that the students are going to be using their hands for that phonological awareness component. So they're going to be, they're going to be taking apart sounds in the word to delete that phoneme. And so they're going to be using their fists and their palms. So you're going to be practicing the sounds. And then in that phonological awareness and fluency piece, the students are going to be using the phoneme foams. For listening, they're going to be echoing you using those phones. When you get into lessons that have the phonics, that is where you will use those reading rods. As you see in this section, the words that you see here, you would need to, if you wanted to have your students, or you may, to save time, just pull out the reading rods that they need. Obviously, for the word perch, you're going to pull out consonants, are controlled, and the digraphs. So you're going to see that the words in here all have different spelling patterns. They have some of the same focus. So you see and this is a review, vowel teams, diphthongs, and are controlled. So you're going to be pulling out those so they can build them as it is time for them to do so in this lesson. You do see the differentiation component that is in every section of the lesson. So you have that 3 different options here. So for your students that have not yet mastered the skill, for your students that have mastered it, you need to give them an extension. There's an option there, and you also have that EL support. So you see every lesson is going to have that fluency component. So practicing that sound, either they're going to be reading a sentence, echoing a sentence that you say. They may be writing a sentence and then reading the sentence. So fluency is going to look different depending on where you are in the toolkit. But the tool for fluency is going to be that fluency foam. You see that you've got that differentiation component here as well. And that EL support, you're only going to see in one section in each lesson. So differentiation is going to be in every section, but EL support will only be in one section. But obviously, all the differentiation components could be used for your EL students as well. And obviously, not just EL students, all these pieces would be beneficial for all your students. So this is the assessment component. So we have the pre and post assessment, the progress monitoring tool, and then you have that informal assessment that you can see with every lesson. So when you're doing the you do section of the lesson, you can watch your students to make sure they have mastered what you're doing. Also in the we do section, you can hear, if your students need to go back and have more practice there. So the we do and the you do section, you definitely can use those to determine if your students can move forward or if you need to go back with this skill. So the pre and post assessment, I'm going to show you that in the toolkit. I'm going to go to the e-reader component and show you that. The progress monitoring tool, there's only one in the toolkit. There's only one pre and post assessment and one progress monitoring tool. So traditionally, progress monitoring tools, you're using bi-weekly, or for those intensive kids, you may be needing it every week. But this is just one progress monitoring tool in here. You also have the word list. So the word cards are provided for the lessons that need the word cards. So this divides to show you where the words are used. Some people do use this for spelling. They use the words from this for spelling list instead of using their spelling list from their Tier 1 program. But this just also lets you know the exact words for the lessons that you're working on, where you'll have the word cards. So those are just all the word cards listed out. And you also will have the free e-reader for 3 years. So I'm going to be walking through that with you. So now I'm going to actually go to the e-reader. So when you open up your teacher guide, you are going to have a code to register your teacher guide for e-reader access. So I'm going to show you that. So this is the e-reader. This is a platform that when I'm using this product, when I'm tutoring students, I do not need this because I'm not having to show anything digitally. Sometimes I will print off some of the components, especially that pre and post assessment. But on a daily basis, I'm not using this with students just because I'm one-on-one in what I do with my tutoring. So you will see at the bottom this little toggle. So if you go to the inside cover where the table of contents is, like I said, that is our scope and sequence, you will see how to register your teacher guide for that e-reader access. So as you see, this is that table of contents that I was showing you, which is our scope and sequence. So that is here in the front of the teacher guide. You also can print all the word cards. There's PDF right here with all the word cards in case you wanted to show them digitally. There's the whole PDF for all the word cards in your kit. You can also print out the sentence cards. So within the fluency section, these are all the fluency sentences that you will have, and it tells you what lesson. There is an option to do that in the toolkits, but you can also print them all here. In the front, you will have a lot of front matter that you may want to read depending on your knowledge, your prior knowledge. But we are going to focus on today. I'm going to show you lesson 6. We're going to go through this lesson. And so I'm going to actually model this entire lesson for you. So this is lesson 6, isolating phonemes. I'm picking this lesson because this is also in the brochure for this. And I know that you have the brochure. The brochure was given out to the in-person training. So people watching this may have the brochure as well. So this lesson is in that brochure. So that is why I picked this lesson. So we are going to model this. I'm also going to show you a resource to use with this as well. So in the front part, in the very front or the very first lesson, you see that I am reviewing letter sound recognition. I look at my materials, I see what I need to get out. I need to dry erase boards and markers, the letter sound cards, the Elkonin boards, the colored chips, the wands, and the foams. So the letter sound recognition, I'm going to be reviewing that short A. But I also see, as I do a quick glance of the words that I'm going to be addressing at the phonemic awareness level, that every word that I'm going to be addressing has a short vowel in it. So I like to share resources with what I do. And so because not every teacher is comfortable with producing sounds, I want to show you a resource, and I'm going to share it with you. This is called 44 Phonemes. It is on YouTube, and it's an amazing resource. I've actually fast forwarded to the short vowel section of 44 phonemes. But please, if you have time to look up this YouTube, Yvette Mans, she worked for Cox Campus in Atlanta. She goes through all the 44 sounds very explicitly, showing her mouth, zooming in on her mouth. But I am just going to show this for short vowels, since this lesson is focusing on short vowels. So watch as I start my lesson here. I would bring Yvette in for this to review short vowels.
Make sure students hear you pronounce phonemes correctly. You're modeling the language that they need to independently decode and write words. Just like the consonants, the English language has a wide variety of vowel phonemes with their own distinct sounds. I'll model each sound, and the grapheme will be shown on the screen below. A, as in the first sound in apple. E, as in the first sound in elephant. I, as in the first sound in igloo. A, as in the first sound in octopus. As in the first sound in umbrella.
So I am just sharing that with you as a resource, because everybody is definitely in different spaces with how comfortable they are in producing sounds, and we don't all have the background, where we have been taught. I was not taught in college how to teach children how to produce sounds. Definitely something I've learned in going through Orton Gillingham training and all the science of reading training that I've had. So just wanted to share that as a resource. So you're going to be holding up your letter A sound card and the chant. Letter is A, sound is A. Okay, so we're going to say the chant together. Letter is A, sound is A. Okay, so and then I'm going to review all the short vowel cards at this time in the lesson. So I'm going to review the short A, short I, short U, short O, because as you see in the lessons moving forward, those are the vowels that we are going to be focusing on, the CVC words with those short vowels. So that is going to be that first part of the letter sound recognition. Reviewing the sounds, and you also could bring in that video or any other resource you wanted to as well. You do notice that you've got that differentiation down here that you have options. So if you needed to add that in, you could. For the phonemic awareness, I'm going to move into that. So everybody is going to get out their wands and chips and Elkonin boards. So in this section, that is, I do not need my phone yet, so just need my wands and my chips. If you notice in the EL section, it does offer using images to pair with the words on the boxes. So if you notice in this, the words are pet, bus, lip, can, and pot. So I am going to model using pot, a butt, picture of a bus, and lip. Okay, so I'm going to show, and this is an option of something you can do. It would be good for all students, but it would be even better for your EL students, right? But it would help. It would benefit all students. So I'm going to model the word pet. Pet. Where is the p sound in the word pet? Okay. Now, where is the, no, you're going to do this with me. Where is the s sound in the word bus? Bus. Very good. Where is the sound in the word lip? Very good. Where is the k sound in the word can? Very good. Where is the t sound in the word pot? Very good. So now I'm going to show some pictures. All right, this is a picture of a lip, right? So where is the sound in the word lip? Very good. Where is the p sound in the word lip? Very good. And where is the l sound in the word lip? Very good. Now using a picture of a bus. All right. So where is the b sound in the word bus? Very good. Where is the sound in the word bus? Very good. And where is the s sound in the word bus? Very good. All right. Now using picture of a pot. Where is the p sound in the word pot? Good. And where is the t sound in the word pot? Very good. So now I have isolated my phonemes. Okay, that was the skill in that section of that lesson. Again, this is lesson 6, where the focus, the skill is just isolating phonemes. Now I am going to go into that initial, medial, and final sounds. I'm using different words. Okay, so listen to the word jam. It has 3 sounds. So I have 3 chips on my board. So j and right? So now I am going to pick up the first sound, j, the second, and jam, right? So I have all 3 sounds. I picked all those up and then I put them all together. Obviously, I'm going to stay with just picking up those sounds. So the first sound is j, the middle sound is and the last sound is right? All right, so let's try it with the word jab. Jab. There's 3 sounds. So j, a, b, right? So at this point, we're not blending, and I did that the first one, but we're not doing that. So let's try it with the word cab. What is the middle sound in cab? Right? What is the last sound in cab? B. Picking that up. Okay. So what about the word cot? What is the first sound in cot? What is the last sound in cot? Okay. What about the word hat? What is the first sound in hat? What is the last sound in hat? Right. What is that middle sound in hat? Hat. Right. Good job. All right. Now you do it. So what is the middle sound in hat? Hat. Right. What is the last sound in hat? Very good. All right. So again, a lot of that gradual release, I do, we do, and then you do. So giving them many opportunities, practicing with those words, those the sounds in those words. And then you're going to move into the fluency. You see the skill, reading with fluency, expression, and chunking. So you are going to be working with these words that you have just mapped at the phonemic awareness level. And then you are going to be using this sentence right here, okay? So I'm going to write some words on my dry erase board. Try and read the words, okay, that I write. Okay. All right, let's read these words. Ready? Bus, man, pad, and pet. Okay. So let's make a sentence using those words. Okay, so now we're going to take the words and we're going to make them into the sentence. So let's write a sentence using those words that we just read. Okay, I am going to read this sentence like I'm talking. The man had a pet on the bus. Okay, now let's use our phones to read this sentence together. As you read this sentence aloud, students will repeat in their phone. So I'm going to read it. So listen to me read this sentence. The man had a pet on the bus. Ready? So you are going to read this sentence with me into your phones. So everybody get their phones. All right. So the man had a pet on the bus. So obviously we're practicing with chunking, we're practicing with echoing, and then you can actually show them the sentence for them to read that. And so that is that differentiation. You can move from echoing to actually showing the sentence to your students. So that is the end of the lesson. Obviously, I did not add all the differentiation in there, but you can. I do want to show you how to find the assessment. So it's at the very back of your teacher guide. You can print it from the e-reader. I also want to show, no matter what lesson that you're on, you're going to see, and I'm going to show you this, in the fluency section, you're going to see the notebook paper icons. You can print out those fluency sentences. So you can use those for dictation. You can print those and you can put them in clear views. Your students can practice reading those, and then they can review the different sentences with reading. You can have centers with those. So that's just an option of how you can do that. So that's the only thing within the lesson that you can print out, as I showed you what you can print on at the beginning with the words, the word cards. So the assessment can also be printed. So this is the pre and post assessment. It is wonderful. So you can use this again as that pre and post to know exactly where to go in your scope and sequence. I do want to show with a student that I did this model assessment with. So it's very easy to score, as you see here, and I know exactly where to start. So obviously this student was missing all, even in segmenting syllables, are controlled, and then that syllable deletion are controlled. So I know exactly where to go in my scope and sequence, exactly what to cover based on the errors of my student. So that is an option to do that pre and post assessment. You do not have to. You definitely can use your data from your district or from your screener that you already have, but just as long as you know the sounds that the student still hasn't cracked, so you can help them crack that code to be a skilled reader. So please let us know if you have any questions. I know that was very quick, and I can definitely meet with you again via Zoom if you have some specific questions, or you want me to do, a Zoom training for you if you need a little more. But please let me know. This is a great toolkit. The students love it. It's very easy to start like today if you're ready. But please, again, as I said, reach out to Amanda, the educational sales consultant, or myself, and we will be glad to provide you with some more training. Thank you for your time today.